Kids and cadets, happy Monday. I hope you had a good weekend. So I took this in on trade yesterday. Yard machine, 20-inch cut. Gentleman messaged me and said, what are your price ranges? I said 120 on up. So he said, I got a rusty machine. I'd like to come out and check your inventory. I said, I'll give you $10 trade in on your rusty machine. So sight unseen, I told him 10. So when he got here, it was him and his dad. His dad had long hair and a beard like me. We could have been twins. So the dad said this ran fine. Just the rust here. He says it runs. So he started it. There was no knocking or banging. So I said, I'd give you 20. I'll give you 20 for it. So they picked out another 20-inch. I had a selection. I had two green Bolins, and then I had the red yard machine. So they ended up taking a Bolins, which I had listed for 140, 20 off. They gave me 120 cash and this fine beauty. So the reason I was interested in this, I have a couple of smaller decks that are in new condition. This engine's going to go on it. So let's look at this thing. I didn't even check it out. I can't even get the dipstick off or up or whatever to check. So let me get a screwdriver. I'm prepared as always. So they asked me about deck integrity. Do they rust? I said, yeah, the newer machines are thin. I can't even, budget finally. I says, you wash the deck once in a while, and he said he had been doing it, pressure washing it, so it sounds like he did try to keep this thing up to snuff. Just put in a couple turns just to see where we're at. Okay, overfilled. You see the arrow there? He's way up here past the arrow. So I had turned it over. He's got a gator blade on it, a high lift. It's not the OEM blade. Let me bring you around here. Let me flip it over. Carb high. So this must be a universal blade. I thought it was a gator blade. Maybe I'm thinking of another machine, but this isn't an aftermarket. MTD USA grass side. So there's a lot of meat on it. I'll just sharpen that up. Kind of flat there. There's your rust through. Pretty soon it was going to go all the way. Wheels are in the middle position. I don't put them there. I put them here to give me highest deck. He's came in with a paper towel there. I don't know if it was leaking gas or what. Let's look at that. Oh, I was leaking gas. cap must not have been tight, or the gasket's bad. It was just pouring out gas. Okay. So he ran this thing to the boneyard. That's why he had the paper towel here to collect all the runoff. Like I said, it did start, so it needs some maintenance. It's a 2018. I was looking for the date code on the gas tank, but the sticker's gone. But the serial number begins with 18. I'll put that below the engine model, and I can still read the MTD sticker here. I'll put that down below. So this engine's coming off. Like I said, I have a better deck. So that's that. Let's move over to a cubby. Last Thursday or Friday, I was out working. Lady walks by. Says, "Oh, you fix mowers?" I says, I basically fix my own inventory and sell. She says, "Oh, my husband has a mower. It won't run right." So I says, "Oh, you live in the neighborhood?" She says, No, I work down the street at a medical complex." I knew which one. She says, "I'm just on lunch. I'm just out walking, getting some exercise." I says, "You can bring it by whenever you want." So they brought it by over the weekend. She translated for me. He told her what to tell me. So this thing had no power. He got it used, was working fine, and then all of a sudden developed no power. Looked it over. I noticed the blade was bent. I says, "Did it vibrate?" He said no. So he had the spring off of the safety brake cable. So he handed me the spring. So there was no tension on the cable, so that was an issue. So I says, I'll clean the carb. It sounds like it needs a carb clean. They wanted to know how much. I says 50 to 60, and he didn't want to spend any money, or a lot of money, he said. So I went through the carburetor, ultrasonic cleaned it, and it seemed to improve. Before that, when it was on the table, I did a valve adjustment. Valves were loose, which can affect power. His deal was it would start, but once he got in grass, it would bog down, no power. So then I worked on this. This here was a joke. This assembly here with the choke, it's a plastic piece which bolts to the tubing. What was happening is the safety brake cable was just pulling through. It's kind of attached here, and the pressure keeps it from moving. So I jimmied it up, put some extra zip ties because I'm certified here. So I did that, but with this heavy duty spring, there's a lot of tension on it. It was just pulling the cable back up again. So I went to my spring storehouse, and you can see I doubled up a couple of springs here. There's just enough tension. See if I can get you in there to pull it back. and then pull it forward. So there's probably a spring standard where only an adult can pull this back, but you see how easy it pulls back with one finger. So probably an 8-year-old would be able to manipulate this, but they're older than me, so I'm not worried. So we got action here. It's going to start and then it's going to kill. So I just bypassed the heavy duty spring with a couple of lightweight springs. One was not enough, it wasn't pulling it back. So I doubled it up. I brought the spring storehouse. It was just something from Harbor Freight, 200 springs. I guess I didn't take it off the porch, but it had all different lengths and diameters. So I'm ill prepared. So that was the deal. So I'm going to charge him 60. I'm going to see if it starts now. It's been since yesterday since I started it. So let's see what it'll do. So I'm going to choke it. There's no fuel shut off. Choke is pulling it back towards me. So what led me to think it needed a carb clean? He had this rag wrapped around here so you couldn't move the choke. He had it on half choke with the smaller end of the rag wrapped in there so you couldn't move it. He had it jimmied up. So I said, okay, half choke, not getting enough fuel. So let's see what this thing's gonna do. I'm all over the place today. It's Monday, I gotta get focused. I didn't tell you anything about it. 173cc, 675 Cubby. It's got the Chinese engine, made in China, and it doesn't say lock chin, so I'm not sure who the manufacturer is, but it is a China engine. It says right there, made in China. Quality control number 346 to approve this to be shipped to the United States. And it says it conforms to 06 California emissions, built November of 06. November of 06. Okay, so let's see if this thing's gonna work for this gentleman. Like I said, I'm gonna choke it, pull the choke, bail bar back. Ducky doing the twist counterclockwise. So like I said, blade's bent. It's really bent down. I'm surprised there's not more vibration. I says, you want me to change the blade? No, no, no. I just want it to run. He didn't even want this fixed, but I did it anyway. So 60 bucks is what I'm going to charge him. So basically that's where we're at. He's getting a good Chinese running Cub Cadet for 60 bucks. The other thing, when he unloaded it, there was no cover and no filter. And I thought, oh, it was full of debris. I cleaned this. I said, where's the cover and filter, oh, at home. So he says, don't worry about that. When I get it home, I'll put it back together. So do you guys get stuff for repairs that's missing parts? They only bring you part of the machine. So it does work good. I cut a little bit of my grass. My grass isn't very tall, but it was cutting. Other thing is he had it down pretty low. That was another issue. Blade was way down here. So he had a clog carb and he was really straining this engine. So I put the deck up a little bit. I'm going to tell him he needs to cut it at that level. Anyway, that's all I got for you. Happy Monday, 06. Cubby in the Yard Machine 2018. I'm going to get after this yard machine, call these folks, and start stripping this thing down, junk the deck, and put this on another machine. Okay, I'm going to get busy, drink some more coffee, and start working. I'm happy for the Cub Cadet. I think they'll be happy for $60. He'll be able to cut higher grass than what he was doing. Miguel and his lovely wife are going to be picking this thing up. Anywho, I took in some more trades over the weekend, so we'll look at those. A couple of scrappers came out, brought me some goodies. We'll look at those. Some good, some bad. Anywho, have a nice day today. Appreciate you coming out. Tip you waitress and wait staff. Adios, amigos.